Hello, everyone, and a very happy Wednesday to all of you. I'm coming to you today with a bit of a different vibe.
And that vibe is cold.
The vibe is shivering, honestly. It's Wednesday, February 11, 2026, and I'm on a few vacation days in, well, an absolutely freezing New York City.
You know, most people go somewhere warm for vacation. You go to Manhattan in February. Says a lot about you.
Hey, I like the energy here, even if I can't feel my fingers. But yeah, the vacation's wrapping up. I'll be back in the office, back to the client investment routine tomorrow. You know how we love the grind.
Of course.
But here's the thing. I was walking through the city just trying to find somewhere warm, and I see this massive line. I mean, it's wrapping around a block on 6th Avenue. I look up, and it's a Chick-fil-A.
In this weather.
Exactly. People are standing out there in like sub-zero temperatures for a chicken sandwich. And look, I love the sandwich, consuming with responsibility and all that.
Yeah.
But seeing that line, it just triggered the investor part of my brain. We all know the brand, the waffle fries. But I realized from a pure, asset perspective, I didn't actually get how the machine works.
It is a machine, and honestly, it's probably one of the most unique and misunderstood business models in the entire food industry.
That is exactly why I called you. We've pulled a huge stack of sources for this, franchise disclosure documents from 2025, 2026. We have financial reports, analysis from FMS Sourcing, The Street, Matrix BCG.
And the mission today is pretty clear, right?
It's to answer one question for you guys tracking the market. How does a company with a $10,000 entry fee generate over $22 billion in sales? And how is it harder to get into than Harvard?
That's the one.
So let's start with that number, $10,000. When I think franchising, I'm thinking, high six figures, maybe millions.
For sure.
But you're telling me the keys to a Chick-fil-A cost less than a used car.
That's the headline number. It's what draws everyone in. And technically, yes, the franchise fee is $10,000. But to get why it's so low, you got to look at the competition.
Okay, like McDonald's.
Take McDonald's. The franchise fee itself is around $45,000.
So for 5 times higher. Still seems doable for a serious investor, though.
It is, but that's just the fee. That's just to sign the paper. To actually open the doors, your total investment for McDonald's is somewhere between $1.3 and $2.4 million.
Yeah.
And you need to have like $500,000 to $750,000 in pure liquid assets, cash.
Right, because you're paying for the building, the equipment, all the CapEx.
Precisely. Even a Subway, which is supposed to be the affordable one, has a $15,000 fee, but the total build-out can get up to $300,000.
So Chick-fil-A at a flat $10,000, it just seems wrong, like a typo.
So what's the catch?
Yeah, where's the catch? Is there some hidden debt structure?
The catch is that it's not really a franchise in the way we think of it. In a normal franchise, you put up the capital, so you own the equity. You own the business.
And you can sell it later on.
You can sell it, yeah. It's an asset on your balance sheet. With Chick-fil-A, you earn nothing.
Nothing.
Zero equity. You are not buying a business. You're paying $10,000 for the right to operate their business.
So they pay for everything else.
Everything. Chick-fil-A pays for the land. They pay for the construction. They buy all the equipment. That can cost over $2 million a store, and corporate foots the entire bill.
Okay, that makes sense now. They take on all the financial risk.
Correct. And because they put up the money, they keep the ownership. You're called an operator, not a franchisee. You can't sell the restaurant, can't pass it to your kids. If you leave, you just leave.
That's a huge difference. It's less like being an entrepreneur and more like buying yourself an extremely high-pressure job.
That is the perfect way to describe it. It's a stewardship model. And because that financial barrier is so low, the human barrier becomes incredibly high.
This is the Harvard comparison I've heard. Is that actually real?
It's statistically accurate. They get over 40,000 applications a year for these spots.
For how many openings?
About 75 to 80. So the acceptance rate is under 0.2%. Harvard's is usually around 3 or 4%.
So it's literally, 20 times harder to get than an Ivy League education?
Way harder. And the vetting is intense. It can take a year, dozens of interviews.
Right.
They interview your spouse, your friends.
Yes.
They are not looking for investors.
So if I show up with a checkbook.
They'll show you the door. They want an operator who's going to be in the store 60-plus hours a week, and they usually limit you to just one unit.
Okay, hold on. You have to sell me on this. I'm working 60 hours a week. I have zero equity. I can't sell it. Why are 40,000 people fighting for this job? Show me the profit and loss.
Okay, this is where the math gets really interesting. Because corporate puts up all that capital, their royalty structure is aggressive. A normal franchise might take 4 to 8% of gross sales. Chick-fil-A takes 15% of gross sales right off the top.
15%? That's a massive chunk of revenue right there.
It is. But that's not all. After that 15% and after you pay all your expenses, they also take 50% of the net profit.
Wait, they take half the profit.
Half.
I'm sorry, 15% of sales plus 50% of profit. That sounds like highway robbery. Is there anything left?
It sounds like it,
Yeah.
until you see the sheer volume of sales. The secret isn't the percentage they take. It's the size of the pie they're cutting from.
Okay.
The average operator still earns between $200,000 and $240,000 a year.
That's pretty good.
But if you have a high-performing standalone store, you can net up to $465,000 a year or more.
$465,000 for a $10,000 buy-in.
Exactly. The cash-on-cash return is basically infinite. You're cash flow positive almost from day one. It's a cash flow play, not an equity play.
And the reason the cash flow is so high is the sales volume.
The average unit volume, or AUV, this is the number that makes their competitors just, well, weep.
So what are the numbers looking like for 2025?
The average standalone Chick-fil-A, it generates about $9.3 million in revenue a year.
Nearly $10 million from one single restaurant.
One restaurant. For context, an average McDonald's does about $3.5 million. A Burger King, maybe under $2 million. A Subway is doing like $400,000.
So they're doing almost triple in McDonald's.
Location, yes.
And here's the kicker that always blows my mind. They're doing that while being closed one day a week.
A Sunday policy, yeah.
From a pure capitalist view, it seems insane. You're leaving money on the table for 52 days a year.
Oh, it's over $1 billion in estimated lost sales annually.
Yeah.
They are voluntarily leaving $1 billion on the table.
But you're saying it actually helps them.
It helps the expense line, not the revenue line. The enemy in this industry is turnover. It costs thousands to hire and train a new fast food worker.
And the turnover is usually awful.
Abysmal. The industry average for hourly workers can be over 100%. You're replacing your entire staff every year.
And Chick-fil-A?
Their hourly turnover is around 60%. Still high, but way better. And for the operators themselves, the franchise turnover in the industry is 35%. At Chick-fil-A, it's 5%.
5%. That's a massive difference.
By guaranteeing everyone a Sunday off, they create a culture where experienced people stay. That experience is how you handle a $9 million lunch rush. That efficiency drives the profit.
It's the slow down to speed up idea. Okay, we should also briefly touch on the culture because it's so tied to the brand, the my pleasure thing.
Right. And we should mention, just from a business analysis view, that this faith-based identity has caused some friction.
You're talking about the controversies around donations and social issues.
Correct. There were boycotts, public pushback, and from an investment analysis standpoint, you have to ask, did it actually hurt sales?
Looking at the charts, it really doesn't seem like it.
The growth curve stayed incredibly steep, but the company did pivot. They shifted their charitable focus almost entirely to education and hunger, moving away from those more charged areas.
A strategic move to broaden their appeal, I'd guess?
Exactly, to make sure the brand is about the chicken, not the politics.
Okay, speaking of the brand and expansion, I want to get into their global strategy, but first, let's just take a quick pause.
If you're enjoying what you're hearing today, we invite you to subscribe, leave a like, and maybe comment on what topics you'd like us to cover next.
And in the description of this deep dive, you will find a PayPal link if you want to support this project. You know, your contribution really helps us keep making content like this. We're not asking for more than the cost of a coffee. Thank you for your support. All right, we're back. Looking at the map, Chick-fil-A is in 48 states. But there are two glaring holes. Who's holding out?
So it's a mix of logistics and, well, a legal battle. First up, Alaska.
That has to be a supply chain problem.
It's a logistical food desert for them. They have a strict, fresh, never frozen chicken policy.
Mm-hmm.
Getting that to Anchorage without freezing it or charging, $20 a sandwich,
Yeah.
it's just not feasible right now.
Okay, that makes sense. But the second one is much stranger. It's Vermont.
Ah, yes. The Great Kale War. This is a classic David versus Goliath story where David actually won.
The Eat More Kale guy, right?
That's the one. A local Vermont artist named Bo Muller-Moore starts making these T-shirts that say Eat More Kale. Chick-fil-A owns the trademark for Eat More Chicken.
And they sued him?
They did. And it backfired big time. Vermont has this very strong, anti-corporate independent streak. When this huge company went after the local kale guy, The public reaction was toxic.
So they basically lost the state before they even arrived.
Pretty much. He eventually won the right to use the phrase, and Chick-fil-A is just dead away.
Wow. Never underestimate a kale enthusiast. But while they're missing Vermont, they are going big overseas. The 2025-2030 strategy is all about a huge international push.
It's a $1 billion commitment. And it's interesting because they've tried and failed at this before.
Right.
But they're back in the UK. They just opened in Leeds in late 2025. And just a couple months ago, December 2025, they opened their first location in Singapore.
Singapore is a fascinating test case. Super high density, food obsessed, but also very high rent.
If they can make the model work there, it validates the whole Asian expansion strategy. They've slated $75 million for that region.
They're also changing things here at home, right, with the licensed locations.
Yes, this is a really key operational shift. You know how you sometimes go to a Chick-fil-A at an airport or a university and the service is just off?
And the fries are a little soggy and they don't take the app.
Exactly. Those are licensed locations run by big food service companies. The quality control isn't there. So Chick-fil-A is aggressively trying to convert those to the owner-operator model.
Because they want consistency,
And
data.
They want the app integration, the mobile ordering, all of it. They want to own that digital relationship with every customer.
Speaking of digital, the tech in these reports is kind of wild. Subterranean delivery systems.
It sounds like sci-fi, but it's really just smart logistics. In new drive-thrus, they're using things like conveyor belts to move food from, say, a kitchen on the second floor down to the pickup window.
To separate the kitchen chaos from the customer.
Exactly. And they're using geofencing.
How does that work?
So you order on the app. The kitchen doesn't start making your fries right away. They start making them when the GPS on your phone says you are exactly 3 minutes away from the store.
So my fries are hot when I get there, but I don't have to wait. That's clever.
It's all about minimizing that dwell time. Every second a car sits in that line is lost revenue.
It really is an efficiency cult. Okay, so let's bring this all back home for the listener. The verdict.
The big question.
If I handed you $10,000 right now and said, go apply, do you do it? Is this a good investment?
I think you have to split the verdict. If you're a passive investor, no, absolutely not. It's a terrible investment because you can't be passive and you own no asset. But if you're looking at it as a career move, I'd call it a golden handcuffs scenario.
Explain the handcuffs part.
The cash flow is just undeniable. Making, $300,000-$400,000 a year on a $10,000 buy-in, you can't get that return anywhere else. But you are locked in. You are a steward of their brand, building their asset. You're trading all of your time for a very high salary that's disguised as profit.
I agree completely. It's not an investment. It's the world's toughest job interview. If you want to build an empire, go buy 5 subways. You'll have debt, but you'll have equity.
Precisely. But if you want a top 1% income without risking your life savings, it's the golden ticket. It's a brilliant corporate strategy that gets people who act like owners but obey like managers.
And that's the takeaway. It's not a money machine you plug in. It's one you have to operate manually every single day.
Well said.
All right, I think that's a perfect place to leave it. I'm going to go find a hot coffee and maybe stand in that line just to see the geofencing work.
Just don't ask for a milkshake if it happens to be Sunday.
Message received. And with that, we reach the end of today's deep dive. We hope you enjoyed it, learned something new, and will join us for the next one.
Thank you very much, and we will meet again very soon. Remember that the PayPal link is in the description if you want to help us out.
Thanks once again. Greetings.
Back to the investment grind tomorrow. See you then.